Chapter 1. For hereunto were ye called, because Christ also suffered for you, leaving you an example, that ye should follow his steps. It was Friday morning, and the Reverend Henry Maxwell was trying to finish his Sunday morning sermon. He had been interrupted several times and was growing nervous as the morning wore away, and the sermon grew very slowly towards a satisfactory finish. "Mary," he called to his wife, as he went upstairs after the last interruption, "if anyone comes after this, I wish you would say that I am very busy and cannot come down unless it is something very important."
"Yes, Henry, but I am going over to visit the kindergarten, and you will have the house all to yourself."
The minister went into his study and shut the door. In a few minutes he heard his wife go out. He settled himself at his desk with a sigh of relief and began to write. His text was from 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 21. For hereunto were ye called, because Christ also suffered for you, leaving you an example, that ye should follow his steps. He had emphasized in the first part of his sermon the atonement as a personal sacrifice, calling attention to the fact of Jesus suffering in various ways in his life as well as in his death. He had gone on to emphasize the atonement from the side of example, giving illustrations from the life and teaching of Jesus to show how faith in the Christ helped to save men because of the pattern or character he displayed for their imitation. He was now on the third and last point, the necessity of following Jesus in his sacrifice and example. He had just put down 3 steps. What are they? And was about to enumerate them in logical order when the bell rang sharply. It was one of those clockwork bells, and always went off as a clock might go if it tried to strike 12 all at once. Henry Maxwell sat at his desk and frowned a little. He made no movement to answer the bell. Very soon it rang again. Then he rose and walked over to one of his windows, which commanded a view of the front door. A man was standing on the steps. He was a young man, very shabbily dressed. "Looks like a tramp," said the minister. "I suppose I'll have to go down and—" He did not finish the sentence, but he went downstairs and opened the front door. There was a moment's pause as the 2 men stood facing each other. Then the shabby-looking young man said, "I'm out of a job, sir, and thought maybe you might put me in the way of getting something." "I don't know of anything. Jobs are scarce," replied the minister, beginning to shut the door slowly. I didn't know, but you might perhaps be able to give me a line to the city railway or superintendent of the shops or something," continued the young man, shifting his faded hat from one hand to the other nervously. "It would be of no use. You will have to excuse me. I am very busy this morning. I hope you will find something. Sorry I can't give you something to do here, but I keep only a horse and a cow and do the work myself." The Reverend Henry Maxwell closed the door and heard the man walk down the steps. As he went up into his study, he saw from his hall window that the man was going slowly down the street, still holding his hat between his hands. There was something in the figure so dejected, homeless, and forsaken that the minister hesitated a moment as he stood looking at it. Then he turned to his desk and, with a sigh, began the writing where he had left off. He had no more interruptions, and when his wife came in 2 hours later, the sermon was finished, the loose leaves gathered up and neatly tied together and laid on his Bible, all ready for the Sunday morning service.
"A queer thing happened at the kindergarten this morning, Henry,"
said his wife while they were eating dinner.